Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Lene and I'm a knitter from Norway, and the last couple of years a really big project for me has been to enjoy Christmas more. I've never enjoyed Christmas really at all, but I really want to get there. I have a son now and I want to not be a Grinch, so I've been working on that the last couple of years, and my main way of working towards enjoying Christmas more has been to make knitting a bigger part of both Advent and Christmas for me. My hope and kind of my thought behind it is that doing something I really enjoy should hopefully make me enjoy Christmas as well. So I've made a ton of plans for both this Advent and this Christmas, so I thought I'd share that with you. I share my fall and winter and spring and summer knitting plans, and I kind of feel like Christmas it's its own season, so I've found all of the yarn I hope to knit with this season, and I thought I'd go through my projects with you all. I really enjoy videos like this. I know that a lot of people make like pattern roundups, but I haven't really made a lot of ornaments or made a lot of these projects before, so I don't know if they're that great, so I don't want to recommend them. I'm just going to state that I'm going to make them, and then if I like them I'll say that later. But I have a lot of plans, and I have tried to kind of divide it into different categories. So we'll just go through this and I'll say what my plans are and what I hope to do with all of this. Hopefully I'll get to as much of it as possible, but I don't think I will be able to get through it all, but I am really excited for all of these plans, so that's at least good going into the Christmas season. But we'll start, and I think the first category will be ornaments, because I hope to spend a lot of this Christmas and Advent season making ornaments. I had lots of plans to do that last year as well. I really want our Christmas tree to be fully decorated in knitted ornaments, and we do have a couple from last year. My mom made some, and I think my sister made one or something, and then I made a couple of I-cord bows the evening of the 23rd of December, but I didn't really get to do everything I wanted to, because last year my big Christmas project was this. I made myself a Christmas dress. This is Augustins number 16 by Augustins.dk, which I made into a dress, and that took up almost all of my December. I think I finished it the 23rd of December, so didn't really have that much time to make ornaments. But this year I'm back and I will hopefully be able to make loads of ornaments, and we'll just start somewhere. And one pattern I really want to make this year is the Christmas Caramel by Petiteknit. I think that's a free pattern and it looks really cute. It looks like a really quick knit, a great stash buster. I think my mother has already knit a few and it seems like she liked it, so that's a pattern I want to do. I really want to do it at least once in red and white. This is just some old red I got from my grandma last year. It's Garn. It's a really rough, uncomfortable yarn, and I'm going to pair that with drops alpaca, which is a really soft, amazing yarn. But I think it doesn't really matter as long as they're the same gauge. It doesn't really matter when it's for ornaments, and this is the white I have and this is the red I have. So I'm going to combine those to make the Christmas caramel, and then I'll probably do white and blue. I think my theme for most of the decorations is red, white and blue, both because those colors go well together, and I can also use the decorations for the 17 Mai, our what's that called, National Day, and different things. Then I can like repurpose a lot of the ornaments, but also just I tend to have yarn in those colors, but hopefully I'll branch out a little bit this year. But I'm going to make that Christmas caramel. I also think it's great for stash busting, so I'll look through all of my tiny scraps to see if I have anything, all of my different yarn qualities, and hopefully I'll be able to make a good few of those. And while we are talking about Petiteknit, I also really want to get to make the December bow. I made one December bow last year, but that was for myself, and I put in a hair elastic to wear it in my hair, and I had a lot of intentions to make more for the tree, but I never got around to it. So hopefully this year I will be able to do that. I'm also thinking to probably do that in red, but I am probably going to make the December bow a lot smaller when I'm going to hang it on the tree. So I'm going to do like a tiny version of the December bow. So I think I should be able to make quite a few from this yarn. I do have 2 skeins, so hopefully I'll be able to make quite a few. I imagine like loads of tiny December bows scattered throughout the tree, so I really hope I'll be able to do that. I don't really think I'll be making the December bow in lots of different colors. I might make some in white, but I don't really think I'll make that in like green, or I have some green here as well. I have some lilac. I lost the bandroll on this one. This is Double Sunday. I have some blue. I don't think I'm going to make the December bow in anything but red and maybe white. But that's definitely something that's on my pattern. That's on my list. That's not a free pattern, but I already have it, so I'm going to try to get as much use out of that as possible. The next, I'm kind of doing this in the order of how much I want them, and the next on my list then is Stjärna. I think that's from a Swedish designer. I really can't remember the name now, but it's this really cute star ornament. I love how it looks. It kind of looks really simple to make and really hard to make at the same time after looking at pictures and videos of others making it, but I think it looks really great, so I hope I'll be able to make a couple of those. Then I'll probably also be making them in Drops alpaca, and I also saw, I think the recommended yarn is Drops merino extra fine, and I think I have a couple of skeins of white of that as well, so I might be making more in the merino extra fine. I might just make all of them in the merino extra fine if I have enough yarn, but that's another pattern I really want to make. And then I also have thought about maybe making one of them in a slightly bigger gauge to have like at the top of the tree, but I haven't quite decided on that yet, but I think that would also be really cool. But I'm going to make one first and see how easy or how hard it is before I go full steam ahead. But the next on my list then is, I think, a fairly new pattern, and that's the Elvira Engel. It might also be from last year, but I think that's from Lene, Holm, Samsøe, and it's this tiny little angel made from kid silk. It looks really cute and quite easy to make, and I also think small little angels dangling around would be cute. And I do have a lot of leftover white mohair from different projects. I don't know why, but every time I do a white mohair project I get more mohair for the project, and then every time I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skeins. So I do have a lot of leftover white mohair now, and I think this project would be perfect for it. And it also looks like a really quick project. It looks like you would be able to whip it together in no time, so hopefully that means I'll get loads of ornaments and that I'll get loads of this mohair out of my stash, because I am also trying to stash first before the new year, so I'll enter the new year with as little yarn as possible. So that's definitely a pattern I want to do. And then I've also been looking at different, I don't know the English word, but Julekuler, and I have a book I got to borrow from my grandma last year that I still have, with Arne and Carlos in a Julekuler. It's one pattern and then 55 different options for color work. So I think if I make one and I figure out I really like it, that I'll make more of these, because there are a lot of different options. I don't know if you can see up here, but you can play around with both the main color and the contrast color and all of these different designs. And I also think knitted ornaments like this, these are really cute. So I don't know what yarn I'll be using for those. Probably some of my thin yarn, but I think this with some white and red. I might be doing green together with white. I think that would be really nice. I also have this double Sunday. I think that would also be really nice. This is like lilac color. This is a color that reminds me a lot of Advent, so this might be more for like Advent decorations throughout the house than for like Christmas tree decorations. I'm yet to figure out exactly where I want to go with this, but I really wanted it in here. All of this yarn together is kind of my mood board for this Advent and Christmas season, and this just screams Advent to me, so I really wanted it in here. And hopefully I'll find something like Adventy that I can make with this and have as like house decor instead of Christmas tree decor. But those are my plans for ornaments. They're not very structured plans. My plan is mainly to just knit ornaments, as many as I'll be able to knit, and I've been trying to look at different patterns to see what I want to make, and these are the patterns that have really spoken to me. And then we'll see as I knit ornaments and as I get more into it what I prefer and if I find any other favorites. But I know at least that this is like the mood board and the colors that I really want to knit with. But other than ornaments, I also have a lot of other projects I want to get to before Christmas and in this Christmas season. And I think next up is gifts, because that's also something I need to work on really early on, because I need them to be done by Christmas. And I have been really good this year. I started early. I think the first Christmas gift I made was in August, and I've also been good this year. I've been trying to be really strict with myself to not at the last moment come up with these really big plans. I think last year this was a spur of the moment decision, and then spur of the moment I wanted to make a huge cardigan for my sister and a huge sweater for friends, and then the ball just kept rolling. So this year I've been trying to make everyone smaller gifts. That's been working out. It's been much less stressful and just much less hassle. Hopefully I'll be able to carry that attitude the whole way in and not all of a sudden think I'll make a sweater like the 15th of December. But so far so good. But I have a couple of skeins in here that represents gifts I want to make. And first up is the skein of Drops Lima, probably the least Christmassy color in here. But this is the color I made my sister's Christmas gift last year. I made her a Eva cardigan, and this year I thought I'd make her matching mittens. I think I'm probably going to do the autumn cabled mittens by Strikkesoffe. I really enjoyed those mittens. I think they're really cute. They're also quite fun to knit, and I know they work with this yarn. So that's probably what I'm going to do for my sister. And then I think either in the same yarn or in similar yarn, if I have any other colors, I want to also make mittens for my brother and maybe father. I don't know which pattern I'll do for them. I know when I made my fiancé mittens, I just used the same pattern, the autumn cabled mittens. I just did it without any of the cables. And made it a bit longer and I think maybe a bit wider, but that worked out for a male hand as well. So I might just do the same thing for my brother and father, and hopefully if I get that figured out, I will have knit Christmas gifts for my whole family. So that's what this skein represents. And then this skein here, this is Knitting for Olive Merino. This skein represents all of the Christmas gifts I want to make the tiny people in our lives. I've already gotten a good amount of progress when it comes to that as well. I think for all of the small people in our lives that I'm going to make them hats, and I think I'm going to make them either the Uværslua or the Allværslua, and just change between those two patterns depending on where they live and the weather where they live. Those two patterns are also by Strikkesoffe. I've only made one of them, but I really enjoy both patterns. They have the same shape. One is just on 3mm and with fingering weight yarn, and one is on 4mm needles and with DK weight yarn. And I've made the DK weight one I think 5 times now. I love it. It knits up really quickly. It has a great shape. It fits really well. It's super warm. It's just perfect all around. So either that one or the thinner one for the people who live where it's warmer, I'm going to make that. I think a lot of them are going to get it in this green. This is called Froskegrønn. I really enjoy this color. It's a bit Christmassy to me. I also have quite a lot of this color in stash, so I'll either single strand or double strand this for the gifts, and I'm going to make them for family members like my twin cousins and all of my son's friends, and just all of the babies and toddlers and small children in our lives, and hopefully they will enjoy the hat as much as I've enjoyed it. It's also one of those patterns where I can just knit it again and again and again and again and again, and I never tire of it. So that's also great when I think I'll end up making probably like 10. So I'm really glad it's a pattern I don't seem to tire of. But those are really the only gift knits I have left. I might add in some gift knits for my friends, but I'm trying to keep to making smaller ones for them as well. So I think if I end up making knitted gifts for my friends, it will be maybe the SoHo Scrunchie. Can't remember the designer's name, I'll put it in here, but I think the SoHo Scrunchie would fit them. I might do Sophie scarf or autumn cabled mittens. Those are all gifts I know they would use and enjoy, and that wouldn't take too much time from me, and it also wouldn't take big quantities of yarn, so I know I already have it in stash, which is also a goal of mine, to not have to get more yarn to make any of these gifts or any of these projects. But that's it for gifts as well. And then my last pre-Christmas category is like seasonal knits I either want to knit to wear this season or that I want to knit throughout this season. And first up among those is the teddy bear sweater I'm going to make my son, but I'm going to hack it into a cardigan. This I'm actually going to make in leftover yarn from this project, and I've been thinking about this making this project ever since I realized there were going to be leftovers from this, but last year I didn't have time, so finally this year I have time. I've been itching to cast this on now for a year. I love making the teddy bear sweater, and I've hacked it into a jacket once before, also love that. I think I did that for my son's christening, and I really enjoyed doing it, so now I'm going to do it. And I also really enjoy working with this yarn. This is Drops Flora in red, and it's Drops Kid Silk in red, and together they make this fabric. So I'm really excited both about the making process, about us matching once it's done. I love it. I think it's going to be great. Since I am so eager to cast this on, I'm not going to wait until December. I'm going to cast on the first Sunday in Advent, which is just right before December, but it's been important to me to wait until Christmas or Advent time to cast this on, but I don't want to wait any longer than I have to. So this is going to be my gift to myself, that I'll be able to start this immediately once it's Advent, so I'm really excited about that. I think I'm going to do size 5 to 6 years maybe, so we'll be able to use it for quite some time. I also have quite a lot of leftovers because every time I make a project I'm really scared I'll run out, so I get more than I need to. But I think this is a great way of using up those leftovers or those scraps of yarn. So that's a project I'm really excited about, and honestly the project that started this whole thing. And then the next project I'm excited about, but that is also a lot more uncertain, is that I have this yarn. This is Ask from Hillesvåg, and I have quite a lot of this yarn. I think I have 600 grams, which is, I think each 100 grams is 300 meters. So I have quite a lot, and it's also in this lovely color. I think it's called Farmer's Red, and I really enjoy this color, and ever since I saw this I just can't get the idea of a Christmas sweater out of my head. And I've been trying because I already have this dress which is Christmas themed and that I don't use a lot outside of Christmas, so I don't know if I need another Christmas themed garment, but I just can't get a Christmas sweater out of my head. But I also can't decide what kind of Christmas sweater I want. I have been thinking about a really comfortable oversized stockinette knit to kind of lounge around in. Here in Norway, romjula is a really big thing where we lounge around and stay comfortable. Pyjamas are a big thing in romjula. That's the period between Christmas Eve and New Year's, and romjula is like, that's the big thing about Christmas. So I've been thinking about making a sweater that would suit that. But I've also been thinking about making a colorwork sweater that could still be comfortable, but it would be also a bit prettier probably than just an oversized lounge around in sweater. But I can't figure out what kind of colorwork I want, what color I want together with this. I do have some gray in my stash, don't know if you can see it, but that's quite dark, so I don't know if it would suit. But yeah, I really can't figure this out, and I can't figure out if it's a good idea either, since I already have a Christmas garment. But I do think I would get a lot more use out of a sweater because I don't wear that much. I don't wear dresses that much, so this only comes out for really special occasions. Whereas I think a Christmas sweater I would use almost every day during Advent and romjula. So I can hear myself trying to convince myself, but yeah, that's another plan. And ideally I would cast this on really early in December, and then it would just stay with me and I would work on it a little bit throughout the whole of December, and then maybe it would be done sometime in romjula or at least by New Year's. But yeah, I think that would be really fun to have like a dedicated Christmas sweater to work on a little bit here and there during December. And then I have one other project that would, I think, would also be great, and that is to make penny socks. This is Drops Nord. It's the oldest yarn in my stash. It's really old. I can't remember when I got it anymore. It's that old, and I keep telling myself all the time that I'm going to make these socks. It never happens. But I think they would be great to have in between everything else I'm going to be working on forward, to just do a couple of stitches here and there on these socks. It would also be really amazing to get this yarn out of my stash before the new year. So hopefully I'll be making penny socks this Christmas, either during Advent or in romjula. Just have socks on the needles. That sounds quite pleasant. So it's in here just to hopefully motivate myself to make these penny socks finally. But that's it for my more selfish plans that I hope to do early on in December. My plans for myself and my son. And then the very last part of this, the upper corner here, consists of what is hopefully going to be my Christmas cast on, and I haven't completely decided on my Christmas cast on yet. It's really hard this year. Last year and the year before that, I knew for months and months and months what would be my Christmas cast on. This year I really can't figure it out, but I think I have landed it now. It might change, but I think what I'm going to have as my Christmas cast on, yet another selfish knit. Christmas cast ons is all about selfish knits, but I think I'm going to make Moby Sweater for myself in the original colors and the original pattern, with not the round yoke but like the one with sticking. I already regret saying it every time I say it out loud, but I do really want to learn sticking. I do really want original Moby Sweater. I do have the yarn. I think I'm a bit short on navy, but I'll just get more skeins for like the ribbing or something. But I would love a Moby Sweater for myself, so I think this is going to be my Christmas cast on. It also suits my Christmas colors. And then in here as well, I have the yarn for a Moby Sweater for my son as well. I'm going to make his in Sandnes Garn merino wool, because I already had a lot of the navy blue merino wool for him. And for mine, I'm going to do it in Viking Garn superwash. So hopefully that will turn into my Christmas cast on, and I'll finally have one of those original Moby Sweaters. I really like the color of the original ones, and I just think it would be great. We would also be able to use it a lot during Easter and a lot just during winter. We already have Moby Sweaters, but the whole family has the one with round yokes, and I really want the original one. So I think that would be a good Christmas cast on, but I do realize that for Christmas and Christmas knitting, I do have a really large amount of more selfish knits in here, even though it's all about gift knitting and ornaments. But I don't have all of the skeins I'm going to use for gift knits and ornaments in here, more of like the general color palette. But yeah, that is my plans for this Christmas. Hopefully I'll get around to making these plans. Hopefully I won't have or make any spur of the moment decisions and just stick to this plan. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your plans for like your Christmas knit, Advent knits. Are you making ornaments? What are your favorite ornaments? I would love to hear all about that. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment. That means the absolute world to me. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. Bye!